become a professional fix-it guy, essentially. You come in and you either start the company or you come in and it's existing and going. And what I find in most sub $10 million companies is a lack of process. Most sales failures or go-to-market failures and things are really due to really not, for the most part, bad people. It's usually lack of process.
Welcome to the 1% Edge podcast, where we dive into the journeys of extraordinary guests committed to getting 1% better every day. Today's topic is all about the do's and don'ts of working in a sub $10 million startup. And to help us out with that, I'm honored to have Ben Stokes, head of growth at Social Coach. Welcome, Ben.
Hey, Carlos, thanks for having me.
Well, hey, let's start off with defining it. I know it's probably obvious, but what are we talking about when we say startups of sub $10 million in revenue?
Yeah, for me specifically, I probably focused on the B2B realm in the SaaS realm. Sub $10 million tech companies trying to grow and start. And how do you do that, right? Get that cooking.
And I work a lot with tech companies, both small and large. In fact, before we get to the do's and don'ts, I got one specific question for you because even when I worked for, different technology companies, I saw this, early on, right? Everybody's, running with their hair on fire,
Yep.
and you're doing everything from sometimes even layering wire in your office, janitorial services, to being the head of growth. And there's not a lot of processes. And I'm just curious, because I can go both ways, right? Are there certain processes that you should put in place early in your experience? Because if not, they bite you in the hiney later. And are there certain processes like, hey, they'll work out as we get bigger? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So in my career, I become a professional fix-it guy, essentially. You come in and you either start the company or you come in and it's existing and going. And what I find in most sub $10 million companies is a lack of process. Most sales failures or go-to-market failures and things are really due to really not, for the most part, bad people. It's usually lack of process. They just haven't built the foundations for growth. And with that, they feel those struggles and everybody's running with their heads cut off and they're doing great things, but you could accomplish so more if you just laid the foundation. To me, that all starts with pipeline and product market fit. And what I see in tons of organizations, and every single one I've been in, actually. And I'm an old man now. I'm 50, but been doing this a
Hey,
while.
that's not that old. I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, but I've been doing it a while, leading companies. I came out of college, started a company, sold companies, done all that. So I've kind of been in leadership since the start, and it's astounding to me how many companies grow and they do great things, but they forget just the fundamentals of we talked a little bit before this, but we built a great product. It's great in our minds. Do our clients actually want it? Do we have product market fit? Have we added the bells and whistles they need to do their jobs? And does it fit in their workflows? Integrations are super key as well. And a lot of them forget all of that and they just kind of go and they get cooking and trying to make money and they're scrambling. But with that comes lack of process, comes all the go-to-market struggles for not doing your homework. And a lot of times they hit a wall where our product just isn't wanted, or it's a nice to have, not a must have. And then they kind of either pivot or die. And so you see a lot kind of fall into that realm. But,
Well, I'll end with I worked with a company startup out of Atlanta.
yeah.
And by the way, they pivoted and did great. But they worked with me on trying to implement some sales processes and having more consistency, I was shocked when I would ask them, like, so what impact have you had on your customers? What type of value have you seen your customers achieve in using your product? And they were really quick to say, this is how many customers we have. But they were like, that's a good question. We really don't ask them that. And
Yeah.
I had to dig and push and prod. And luckily, those stories were there, but within certain individuals that
Mm-hmm.
worked on certain accounts and just knew them well enough to kind of pull those out. And they just didn't have the processes in place to really feed that back into product and marketing and everything else. And once they started doing that, you could see the acceleration because they did have a great product. They did have great stories. They just didn't put a focus on having a process to have a feedback loop between we sell them, we implement them. That's not the end. We want to know how they're using it. And it's not just usage. What results are these customers getting? Any
Yeah.
views on how young companies can kind of put that into place or even pivot to it at the right times before they get too big?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. The feedback loop, I'm just thinking back to all the companies I've worked. I don't know that one was there to start really in a strong way. Like you said, in silos, like certain people knew certain things. And honestly, the easiest way, you don't, there are softwares you can purchase for all that. Start a Google Doc and put out your accounts, go through your accounts, and get to know your accounts as a leader, especially as a sales leader. I like to call through the accounts and make sure they're happy. I also like to sit on CS calls, but you got to get that feedback loop from them of what are we missing, because it teaches you how to sell it on the front end, because you'll know exactly what their pains are. You'll know how to sell, to the right things instead of like button A is broken. Look, who cares about that? What is it causing you to do that's causing you not to see your family at the end of the day? Let's talk about that. And that's how deals get done. But you only find that out by digging in. So I think that's critical. Just start a simple Google Doc. And then I think it's also critical to do the feedback loop to product as well, because a lot of times you'll see product built in a silo where they think they're building what's wanted. It is crazy to me how many product guys do not talk to customers. Now, there are some great ones that do, right? And they usually have better product market fit and all those things. But just because you have a great idea, I don't know the percents, but I guarantee the percent of companies that start up that have to pivot is probably extremely high, because you probably got it wrong. You might have an okay idea that gets you into a lane, but you're not quite in the right lane yet. But without talking to customers, you're going to have a really hard time finding that lane. My last org I was at, I'll save them from names or whatever. You guys can look me up. But so they're moving into a security realm, which they were an RFP giant, one of the leaders in the industry, and they wanted to add some security layers to in their offerings, essentially a new product. They had built a product and great team, great everything, and they had built it, tried to sell it for a couple of years, but it was nowhere near what is actually needed in that realm. And they didn't have the product expertise or the knowledge from selling into that realm of how to build this correctly to sell it, and how to package it, how to price it, how to do all those things. And they simply could have got years ahead just by having a ton of customer interviews, go out and meet a ton of security sales guys, leaders. What makes this sell, what doesn't, etc. So sometimes they put the cart before the horse. There is something to be said about that, because you have to make money. I get it. But you also, in the long run, you'll be way better off if you just do the homework up front. But
I agree 100%. In fact, I worked for a company. My joke back to product used to be, I bet you I can lay our product and our two competitors. And if I took the logo off, I questioned if they could even pick ours, because
yeah,
I felt they were just so disconnected. Now, I'll also tell a positive story of that same company. One of the best products we developed, they went out and got a steering committee of 5 customers that
yeah,
helped us design it. And with the requirements, it was the most complete product we ever rolled out in version 1. We had 5 customers to start, and we had 5 success stories to start. It was the best kickoff of any product I've ever been involved in. And when I looked at other companies that want to either be, a new product, or they want to do a new product within an existing one, it's like, can't you just grab a couple of customers, help them be part of the design team?
hmm,
Give it to them for free if you have to.
yep,
But the trade-off is they have to be, references and spokespersons for the product, and they got to actually use it.
yep.
And to me, that's like a great start. I don't see, I mean, sometimes I see people talk about it, but I don't see a lot of companies doing that. Ben, what do you see out there?
No, same thing. Like I said, in my career, I rarely have seen many do that at all. If at great links, they do it later. As you get to that 3-4 million mark, you're starting to get a little more mature. You're starting to hire some more people. The whirlwind of the day isn't so crazy, and then you have time to do these things, right? It really comes down to those early years of making the time to get it right. If you do that, it will make you so much more money down the line. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's slower sometimes, depending on your team and your engineering team and how fast they can move, etc. But super critical. And then what is that feedback loop? What's also missing is the feedback loop from sales, from the front line. It baffles me how little large organizations listen to the front line. Decisions are made on pricing, packaging, product, roadmap, all these things without talking to the guys who are actually selling it and understand what is actually needed. And that facilitation of that is critical. And again, just put it in a Google Doc, feed it back. Everybody meets, get a committee, all the department heads, so you're not siloed and you're all working towards the same thing. Work off a Google Doc. Here's the things we're working on towards this North Star or whatever you want to call it, and just coordinate that. And if you do that, you will get light years ahead of most of your competitors because everyone is scrambling at that point. You don't have the money to go hire a bunch of heads. You got to make it happen, but you can't work in silos. So
I like that. It creates a little bit better team chemistry and culture as well.
yeah,
Because as soon as you start getting into your own bunkers, then you start blaming other people for shortfalls when the reality is it's whether it's good or bad, it's all ours, right? It's a small team to begin with.
yeah, yeah. It's everyone. Could I have been better as a sales guy telling my product guys what we needed? Yeah. Could they have been better at managing the roadmap or the roadmap? Right? Yeah. Could our CS be better at the feedback loop? Yeah. And that's what that does is by curating these steering committees of let's all work towards the same thing. And I'm a big fan of keeping it simple too. There's so much business literature and methodologies and this and that and all that. All of it's the same thing, really. It all comes down to, did we offer a great product that's needed? That's a must have. If it's not, find that must have. That'll make your sales move so much faster. And then what have you done to build a foundation in terms of pipeline? We've been talking product, right? You got to get the product right. But so many leaders just think if I just hire and put butts in seats, pipeline will come. But
Yeah.
have you built a foundation to make that happen? Is marketing doing the right things? Do you have any lead gen even happening? Are you playing the Google ad game, the SEO? Have you done all that, the baseline stuff? And then what are you doing now to optimize using AI and things like that, where you could, your scope today, I could make what in a day without going crazy, probably every day, 100 cold calls or something like that, right? And with emails and follow up and, doing all those things and LinkedIn outreach, I mean, that's a full day of every day, but that's slow. How can we move faster than that? And how can we make that a steady foundation? But most orgs I've ever worked at are missing completely the boat on that. And they just think put more butts in seats. And that's driven from VC culture a little bit as well. Let's grow, take the money, grow, hire 16 people. Yet I look at my sales guys' calendars, and I've been in these situations where I've been forced to hire a ton of people. And you look at your sales guys' calendars, and they're not even full. Why would I split the pie more if we're not even busy? Where's all this additional work, business going to come from? It's not going to come from their cold calls. Cold calls, you're going to get what, 2-3% out of 100 to connect
Right.
even. And then maybe you get 50% of those that go to a demo. Yeah, you'll get some there, but that's not enough to hit these goals and these targets. You have to build a lead foundation and a branding foundation to actually do this and make it happen. And it's tough. It's a hard thing to do, but it is literally missing in almost every org I've ever worked at, except for the more established orgs.
Well, it's one thing you brought up. You brought a couple of great points. One of them is I believe that post COVID, the whole grow at all costs type of scenario really changed. Now it's like, no. I want profitable growth because I don't
Yeah.
have new money coming your way. And the
Yep.
cost of money went up. And to your point, it's not about, well, the market's hot, so I'm just going to hire 16 more reps. No, the market's cooling down. I need more reps to be effective. I need more reps to be hitting quota. I need
Yeah.
more reps to be doing the right things, which I guess comes back to your about you got to have some process in place.
Yeah.
It isn't just throw them to the wolves.
No. And you gotta build that lead gen foundation. Find what I do is I have a good knowledge of lead gen. I'm definitely not a specialist in it because I'm not in that seat every single day. But find someone who is. There's some amazing people out there. Eric Stromness, I'll just throw his name out. A friggin' lead gen genius. He's great. He built Canopy from a mess to really just crushing it through really good lead gen principles, etc. So find those people, get them to help you, get them to mentor you if you can't hire them, get them to help in those ways. But figure out, take the ego out and understand where you're strong and where you're not, and where you're not, find someone to mentor and help you get strong there. But make sure that foundation is built. If you build that foundation, chances of success go way up. And if you don't, it's going to be one of those churn and burn, fire everybody because the sales guys suck, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't bring in deals or whatever, but there's literally no branding. No one knows who you are. No one, all that fun foundational stuff isn't there. And so you're
Right.
just setting your guys up to fail. It doesn't matter who's in the seat. Put Grant Cardone there, he'd probably figure out a way. But for the young bucks just trying to get cooking, that's a really hard situation to get put in. And so you got to set these guys up to succeed. And so
Speaking of succeeding and having the foundation, a lot of times, you get a young founder, they develop what they think is the next biggest mousetrap. And, they show it to some customers, their eyes get big. Oh my God, this is great. And you have this, I call it, false platform where you think, oh, this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar market, right?
yeah.
Where the reality is, hey, there's only so many early adopters for that product.
Mm-hmm.
And the more latent buyers, they're going to have much more scrutiny. They're going to want to make sure it's working, it's delivering the value that you said it's going to deliver. And I guess this is like two don'ts. One is having an ICP to really go after it with a
Yep.
proving track record. But even the other part of it is even having an ICP, because a lot of times startups will go, hey, they have a pulse, let's go demo.
Yeah. I've had founders ask me what an ICP is, believe it or not. So it's definitely critical. And I've had marketing teams working without understanding what the ICP is. So we're all human, we all learn, and we all only know what we know, right? And there's things, I definitely don't know everything, but ICP is foundational element. When I talk about those foundational elements, if my sales guys are cold calling, who am I going to cold call that has the highest chance of connecting and the highest chance of converting? That's your ICP. They're the ones that are feeling the pain that you're solving the most, etc. So fill your pipeline with those. Be really critical of who you let into your pipeline. And then don't make an environment where your sales guys are so scared to, I'll go on a little sales methodology rant here. There's good things in them for sure. Sales methodologies were created from an executive position to control all the variables so they can answer to VCs and say, yes, we're doing this, this, this. We know our business inside and out. We know our deals, blah, 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 right? All important things. The experience on the other end, like if you're my client and I'm a junior sales guy and I don't know how to do this, I'm selling a whatever methodology, doesn't matter, MedPick, whatever. And I go through, all it's going to be for you is a checklist sale. I'm going to go through this, because my sales manager is going to yell at me if I don't do that. And the buyer experience is completely missed in that whole equation. I can tell you straight up, I haven't sold with a sales methodology at the last 4 orgs, and results are way higher because number one, you're not squashing your creativity for your reps. Every person sells different. You can't sell like me. I can't sell like you. We're not the same person. We have different, different skills and whatever. But it doesn't mean you're not going to hit all those sales methodology points within. If you have good sales leaders and they're managing the pipeline, they're looking at it, they're talking to those reps, they're involved in those deals, you're going to run across all those things anyway without torturing your clients. Your prospective clients. Make it a killer buyer experience. For me, number one, as you start these things up, get that go-to-market fit, make sure your product is strong in a must-have category, get your pipeline foundation and your lead gen built, and start building that brand ASAP so they know what you are. And then from there, make the buyer experience amazing. All that matters is, because you're not going to remember, you're going to demo me and 4 others. You're going to remember, did you like me? Could I solve your pain of button A is broken? Or whatever, better than someone else. All the rest probably looks exactly the same to you. And it does our pricing suck, right? And that's really all you're going to remember. So win that battle. I call it the early wow moments. So like if I got you on a demo, we'll just use this as an example. If I got you on a demo and I show you the screen and show you the product, how long does it take you to make a buying decision? Your first mental decision of, does this suck or is this great? Oh, did I freeze
Are
up
you
on you?
asking me? You did for a second, but
Oh,
it's all right.
sorry.
Are you
I think
are
I
you
froze.
asking me how long
Yeah.
what do you have?
Yeah.
I'd say 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's your first buying decision. If I don't win that buying decision, the whole rest of the time you're thinking of ways this won't work for you instead of ways this will work for you. Screw methodologies. Sorry, guys. Fire me if you want, whatever. I don't care. But make it a great buyer experience. Win those early battles, understand those battles. How do I win that battle for you specifically? I have to understand if button A is broken, what pain is that causing you? And I know we talk a lot about pains in sales and we've like beat it to death,
Mhm.
etc. But just go back to basics. Why are you buying a product? Because this is causing you pain. It's taking you forever to do X, right? Can we solve that better than anyone else? If so, let them speak, let them spew about that pain, and let them sell it for you. But focus your whole sale on that. That is way more important than hitting this button, this button, this button, this. You're going to flush out all the buying decision makers, all that crap later anyway. You're going to get all that if you're a good salesperson and doing the right things. You're going to figure out who should be doing what in terms of who's signing, who's legal, all that stuff. You're going to flush all that out in a more natural way. Focus on the buying experience. That's, I don't know. That's the lessons I've learned hard way.
So Ben, I'm gonna agree with you and sort of disagree with you, but you know
Yeah.
my day job.
Oh, it's all good.
But at the end of the day, what you described is a sales approach. You
Yeah.
know, getting your buyers to go, hey, we're not going to make this about, you know, our checklist. We're making it about their checklist. You know, why are they doing anything? Why are they doing it now? Why would they do it with us? How would they
Yeah.
justify it? Who's involved and what's the timing? Make it about their buyer's journey, not about our, you know, checklist.
Yeah.
I agree with you 1,000%. And that's when I talk about ours, you know, with my other job, when I talk about sales methodology, I go, look, let's just have a framework to make sure we're consistent and we cover the bases.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy to jump into, let me tell you about me, my products, and why we're
Right.
great. Let's hold off on that and really make it about them and their business and what's working and what's not working. And is it enough for them to be able to even want to see our demo and our products to help them address it? And now
Exactly.
your wow moments, your demos start with, hey, here's what I understand about you. This is
Yeah.
what's going on. This is what your goals are. Here are the problems you got today. Here's what you're looking for. Here's some of the possible impacts. Now let me show you the product and how we can prove that we can solve some of those problems. But it's really about their journey, not ours. Are we in a happy medium?
Yeah. 100%. No, I agree. And yeah, it is. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, it's just a sales approach. But I just, all these methodologies, man, they drive me crazy. Just
Well,
get
some of
in.
them, and I'm going to agree with you, buddy. I mean, like Medic, for example, which a lot of people use in tech.
Sure.
It's an opportunity inspection.
Yeah.
You know, it's these letters, and do you have this? Do you have that? And for that younger rep, they're like going, um, what do I ask? How do I get that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Or like, for example, if you ever remember TAS, which was a long form and it had a million questions on it, I go, this is great questions. If only I knew the answers.
Yeah.
So if your approach is really like, look, let's make it simple. If I understood this correctly, correct me if I'm
Yep.
wrong. Make it about the buyer and helping the buyer with their own buying decision and buyer's journey. And then if our approach matches that, then it's going to help us give us quicker, faster leads. If
Yeah.
it's really all about us, then it really creates a conflict.
Yeah. It just, I've had some leaders that come from nothing against them, but these big, huge orgs, these big monsters, and they're all about the opportunity inspection, right? Inspection. Cause to me, it's a culture of mistrust. Like I've hired the wrong sales guys, so they all must suck. So I'm going to babysit the heck out of them and make sure they do da 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 da, right? Which is great, whatever. But don't transfer that onto your prospects. When the minute you do that, they're just going to go with whoever was a better experience.
It's
Especially if your products are similar and pricing similar. So yeah, and to me that just keep it simple. And then from then shorten your sales cycle by shortening time in between events. Use a mutual action plan or whatever you want to do, but don't make it torturous. Make it a great experience, but put into that thing. Think of it as a way that, like, if I couldn't get you on the phone and you're the CEO and I need you to sign off to get this deal done, think of that plan or whatever you want to call it or whatever you want to use. But am I giving you, the champion, all the information to give to you that you know what the heck this deal is, why it matters? Do I have to be on these calls? Do I not? Is the ROI there? Is this a good buying decision or not? If you're not giving all that information early and you're not shortening those time in between events, you're just handing control to them in the sales cycle and you're just waiting and hoping. And so I see so many reps, and especially early on, young reps will have a great demo, I'll go look through and it'll say last touch 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know what I mean? You got to shorten those time in between events. The whirlwind of everybody's day is busy, and it doesn't mean they don't want you. You just got to control that variable and make sure that you're top of mind and keep pressing through. But do all their homework for them, give them all the information to give to their C-levels, their decision makers, and make it easy on them. There's a cool program I use called doc.us,
Okay.
DOCK, to do mutual action plans, which are great. You can
Love
build
those.
out, yeah, the electronic ones where it has videos. You can make it as pretty as you want. You can put all your onboarding stuff. You can do whatever you like. So there's a ton of stuff like that out there. You can even just go old school and create a deck, whatever. But the point is just help your reps, help their champions to get these deals done.
I like calling them mutual success plans because the focus is really not on deal closure, and
Yep.
it's not even on starting the project, and it's not even on going live. It's on getting to that impact, the result that they're ultimately looking for.
Yep.
And if you have a mutual success plan that ends in that, it's a lot easier to go through the steps.
Yeah.
And I ask this every client, do we, what percentage of our pipeline do we have that's stalling out? Usually it's a big percentage. And I go, how many of them have a mutual success plan? None.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did a demo, we gave them a proposal. Okay, that's not convincing anybody.
No. No, there's a lot of work to be done in those steps. And you look at any pipeline, demo held is always the biggest bucket. And it'll sit there forever because that's also when the client says, okay, thanks, send me some information, or I'm going to talk internally to my team and all those. How do you control those variables, and how do you make sure your champion's keeping the ball rolling internally? And has your champion even bought software? Do they even know how to? Do they know
Right.
the questions to ask? Do they even know internally who to ask? And this is where, we talk about the methodologies are designed to flush all this out. This is where you flush this out anyway, if you just do a good job. But yeah, if you can do that in a really great way and get that champion on board where they're like, yeah, I want you guys. Once you get to that point, use them. Okay, you want us.
To help
How
you
do we get this
get
deal
there.
done internally, right? And so I'm not saying anything new. It's this has been in 40 million sales books and all that, but it really does. It works. You do have to press people to get deals done a little bit, but you got to do it in a smart way. And so, yeah.
All right. I know we're running out of time, so I'll ask this. What do you think the biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes, these sub $10 million startups make that really impacts them in scaling later?
Yeah, first comes with product, finding that product market fit. Did you get it right? And you probably won't get it right for a number of years, but are you hunting for that? And are you doing the right processes? Do you have strong processes in place? Pricing and packaging, I see way too much friction in that. For example, if I sold you a package with a baseline fee and number of users, all I'm handing you is a negotiation card, because if I'm going to say it's 6K and you get, oh, we got an alarm there, 6K and 20
Sorry.
users, you're going to say, well, only 10 will use it, so I'm going to beat you up and we're going to drop it to 3K. You know what I mean? Things like that. Do you have the right packaging in place? And then don't cheat your sales guys on the comp plan. I see that early where they try to just pay them as little as possible. And I get it. You're strapped for cash and all those things. All you're doing is letting them know, hey, you're not valued. Go find another job.
Yeah.
And I see that over and over and over. Create a killer comp plan from the start. Get people who want to be there. Make them successful. So.
Especially when such a small percentage of revenue usually comes from a small percentage of reps. So
yeah.
Sorry, a large percentage of revenue comes from a small percentage of reps.
Yeah.
So hey, let's not cheat the ones that are even closing.
No, you're gonna have one or two guys there for a number of years. Take care of them. They're literally building your business. So I see that all the time. They try to cheap them out of this or that or whatever, and I get it. You're strapped, but take care of them. So.
All right, Ben, closing this thing out. Give me a little background on Ben. I mean, obviously, we heard a little bit. You've worked for various startups. Anything else you'd like to share?
Background, degree in finance. Came out of college, started a transportation company, of all things, not in tech, logistics company. Sold that. We grew that to about 63 million in our last year. Sold that taught companies how to do it, did it again with another company called Marquise, sold that, then jumped into tech. And actually, my first tech gig was with Advanced MD, selling software in the medical software area. And then jumped into leadership there, and then just moved up. I've worked everything from small startups to I've led sales at Proofpoint to big monsters and everything in between. But bulk of my career, I'd say, has been that 10 mil mark or sub.
You
I
got your
really
sweet
enjoy that.
spot.
I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. You get to mold the clay. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. So what's your win percentage, Ben? What are you working on to get better every day?
Yeah, I think I have a rule of no armchair leaders. And what I mean by that is get in the trenches, make cold calls, learn how to build your business. I make cold calls every single day. The first 2 hours every day, I cold call.
Excellent.
And that makes me better, number one, to teach my guys how to do it, what works, what doesn't. But also, you learn so much of your product market fit through that. Do they see it as a nice to have? Why? Dig into those things and you'll learn so much. So for me, it comes down to the basics. Just get on the phone, pick up a phone, start talking to people. So,
For our folks out there that are doing business development, the fact that you said, you actually schedule 2 hours to do cold calls, to do prospecting, I
yep.
think that's critical because a lot of people, yeah, I'm going to prospect, but it's kind of like working out. Yeah, I'll go to the gym, but they never go.
Yeah.
They never pick up the phone. They don't put the effort in. They don't get in the right mindset to go do it. So just scheduling it, I think it's great. Kudos to you.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And my other key, and I know we got to go, track it. It really helps build your motivation. Create a Google Doc. Who did I talk to? I try to get at least 3 touches on the first email, call, and a LinkedIn invite, and then go back through that doc and keep recycling until you're done. If you want to do it through a CRM, I'm old school. I just do it in a Google Doc. And for me, it's easier. And I just manage it through there, and then I update the CRM. But get a good system because it is motivating to see, oh man, I got to grow this, or I got to call this guy back, or you know what I mean? Use colors to indicate call back or whatever you got to do. So I don't know, but get in the CRM so your sales managers don't kill you either. Make sure you're putting your activity in and all that. But I manage it outside, and for me, it's super helpful.
And I can see that, especially starting out early on when you're trying to manage costs.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great move.
Yep.
Track it however way you can.
Exactly. Yep. If you don't have the money to get a good tracker or some sort of software in place, just Google Docs is your friend, man. Make it work.
Awesome. All right, Ben. If people want to get a hold of you, reach out to you, know more about you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, you can look me up LinkedIn, just Ben Stokes. You'll find me. But email just bstokes@socialcoach.io. And yeah, ping me. Love the chat. Happy to help.
Oh man, great having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for doing it.
No worries. Appreciate you, Carlos.
All right, folks. That does it for this week's episode. If you found some value in our conversation, please comment back, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. And I wish you nothing but the greatest success, everyone out there. Thanks again, Ben.
No worries. Thanks.